Now for the roles of the upper houses. So what I'm kind of trying to point you guys towards is it's much easier to do well if you just categorize and remember which roles of the lower and upper house overlap and which roles are distinct and different between each house. So that's how I recommend studying for this. So this is the Senate at Commonwealth level, and this is the Legislative Council at Victorian level. So the roles of the upper houses, unlike the role of the lower house, where the role is to form representative government, meaning that we need to represent the views of the people in Australia, the upper house is representing the interests of the states at Commonwealth region, at Commonwealth level, or representing the interests of the regions of Victoria at Victorian level. So this is different. Um, so for instance, just to help you understand this, the compositions are really different. The lower house is, just chosen by the people, depending on, who's getting the most votes, they will become members of the lower house. Okay. Whereas in the upper houses, so let's look at Victorian level, for instance, there is a set number of representatives that will form the upper house from each region that Victoria is divided into. So there is geographical representation when we're looking at the upper house based on distinct geographical areas. That's how we represent the interest of regions of Victoria, not necessarily the people. Okay, so you can see that election process is really different. A certain number of members from each region are elected into the upper house, whereas with the lower house, it all just depends on people's votes and isn't necessarily decided based on region and geographical area. So it's the same thing when we look at state level. There's a certain number of members of the upper house from each state that are elected, and quite less from each territory. So territories contribute way less representatives to the upper house. Not sure if that is fair when we're talking about, accurate representation of the states, but it is the way that it is set out in the Constitution. So unfortunately, that cannot be changed. Um, Now, they also initiate debate and vote on bills if they're, the house that's the bill is being initiated in. However, remember this important difference: the Senate or the upper house, they cannot initiate any money bills relating to government spending and allocation of spending. They also act as a house of review. If the bill is coming to the upper house second after being introduced in the lower house first. They also scrutinize government, so examine flaws in a proposed law, and scrutinize, the motivations, I guess, of the government party. And they can also examine bills or issues in committees and parliamentary committees.